In a world turned to ash, one man survived by sheer will, fate, and the keys of a piano. This is the true story behind The Pianist, the haunting real-life journey of Władysław Szpilman, the Jewish pianist who lived through the horrors of the Warsaw Ghetto and beyond. Władysław Szpilman was born in 1911 in Sosnowiec, Poland. A gifted pianist and composer, he became a rising star in Polish classical music. By the late 1930s, he was performing live on Polish radio, filling the airwaves with Chopin and Beethoven. But in 1939, the music stopped. When Nazi Germany invaded Poland, Szpilman's world shattered overnight. As a Jew in Warsaw, he was forced from his career, his home, and finally into the Warsaw Ghetto, along with nearly 500,000 others. He witnessed starvation, disease, and mass deportations. But through it all, he clung to life and music, performing in cafes inside the ghetto to stay alive. In 1942, Szpilman and his family were herded toward the trains at Umschlagplatz, the gateway to Treblinka. But at the last moment, a Jewish policeman recognized him and pulled him from the line. His parents, his siblings, all were sent to their deaths. He never saw them again. From that moment on, Szpilman was alone. He went into hiding, first helped by non-Jewish friends, then surviving on scraps and silence in the skeletons of bombed-out buildings. He watched the Warsaw Uprising of 1944 from the shadows, as the city burned and collapsed around him. For months, he hid in freezing conditions, suffering starvation, illness, and the constant threat of discovery. He once lived for days in a ruined hospital, eating nothing but a can of pickles. In the final months of the war, as Warsaw lay in ruins, Szpilman was discovered by a German officer. But instead of shooting him, the officer asked, "What do you do?" Szpilman pointed at the piano. He played Chopin. The officer, moved by his music, chose to hide him. He brought food, blankets, and never turned him in. That officer's name was Wilhelm Hosenfeld, and his act of compassion saved Szpilman's life. In 1945, the Soviets liberated Warsaw. Szpilman emerged from the wreckage, malnourished, grieving, but alive. He returned to Polish radio and resumed playing the same piece that had been cut off 6 years earlier by a German bomb. The music had come full circle. Szpilman went on to rebuild his career, writing over 500 works and sharing his story in a memoir, The Pianist. It was later adapted into an Oscar-winning film, directed by Roman Polanski and starring Adrian Brody. Władysław Szpilman lived until 2000, passing away at the age of 88. Wilhelm Hosenfeld, the officer who saved him, died in a Soviet prison, but was later honored as righteous among the nations. Their lives, forever linked, remind us that even in history's darkest moments, humanity can still be found.